The Philadelphia Eagles defeated the Chiefs 40-22. After Taylor Swift was vehemently jeered by Eagles supporters upon her debut on the Jumbotron, the Chiefs' tone was set early. It foreshadowed what would happen during the game. Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes played some of their worst games ever on the field, and they were both in tears following the defeat. The Chiefs' offense was significantly impacted by the loudness of the Philadelphia fans, who maintained their enthusiasm throughout the game. The Chiefs' defense was taken aback by the Eagles' impressive performance in the first quarter. Although the first drive ended in a contentious offensive pass interference call, the Eagles recovered to score the game's first touchdown on the tush push. Despite two offensive drives in the first quarter, the Chiefs were unable to create an impact against the Eagles' formidable defense, which consistently placed pressure on Mahomes. Mahomes also had trouble getting his receivers to settle into a rhythm. He missed several passes and almost got picked off. Immediately into the second half, Brian Cook intercepted a poorly thought-out pass downfield from Jalen Hurts that could have turned the tide back in the Chiefs' favor. But the Eagles' defense showed off their strength and prevented the Chiefs from getting a first down. Halfway through the second quarter, the Eagles' lead grew to 17-0 when rookie cornerback Cooper DeJean caught a misdirected Mahomes pass and took it all the way to the house for a pick six. In the second quarter, Mahomes made a second interception, this time to linebacker Zach Bond, after catching the interception bug. The Eagles took advantage of this by scoring right away through a touchdown pass to A.J. Brown. The Eagles led 24-0 going into the locker room, making the first half as stunning as it could get. After winning the coin toss, Kansas City decided to defer, which allowed them to establish the tone for the second half. However, it's evident that they made poor decisions at halftime because Mahomes was still under pressure from the Eagles. The Chiefs' incapacity to keep Mahomes safe was the game's story. Their quarterback was never able to settle into the pocket, and they gave up 6 sacks during the game. The Chiefs were unable to overcome the Eagles' lead after halftime. In the third quarter, Philadelphia had a 34-0 lead that was too big for even Tom Brady to overcome. In Super Bowl 51, he made a historic comeback from a 28-3 deficit. Backup quarterback Kenny Pickett played the final minutes of the game to ensure the Eagles won, because it was such a landslide. Despite passing for 257 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions in Super Bowl 59, Mahomes was a shadow of his former self, and the majority of those stats were obtained after the game was already over. Throughout the entire game, he appeared insecure and his accuracy was inconsistent. Kelce, who only caught 4 passes for 39 yards, was equally awful. However, not every Chiefs player had a terrible game. Xavier Worthy, a rookie wide receiver, tried his hardest to get Kansas City out of their predicament. He hauled in 8 catches for 2 scores and 157 yards. The Eagles had playmakers everywhere on the field on the opposing side of the game. Hurts, who completed 221 yards of passing for 2 touchdowns and 1 interception, handled everything. He ran for 72 yards and scored another touchdown, demonstrating his threat on the ground as well. The Chiefs' defense was also a feast for wideouts Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown. Brown went for 43 yards and a touchdown, while Smith got 69 yards and a touchdown. For the Eagles, defensive players also excelled. Mahomes was sacked twice by Josh Sweat and twice by Milton Williams. Saquon Barkley ran for just 57 yards and no touchdowns, which was a quiet game in comparison to the rest of his playoff run. After defeating the Chiefs handily, the Eagles will now celebrate their Super Bowl victory in the Big Easy. Travis Kelce, a tight end with the Kansas City Chiefs, has more Super Bowl receptions than any other player in 59 seasons. Kelce passed Hall of Famer Jerry Rice for the most catches in Super Bowl history on Sunday after making his 3rd catch against the Philadelphia Eagles. Prior to Super Bowl 59, Kelce had 31 receptions in his first 4 Super Bowls and needed 3 to surpass Rice's 33, who had 33 in 4 Super Bowls with the San Francisco 49ers. However, the record was tainted because it occurred during the 4th quarter of a 40-22 loss. He had 4 catches for 39 yards at the end of the game. It's difficult to dispute how amazing it is for the tight end to break the record of the best wide receiver in the most important game of all, even though Kelce took a little longer. In the divisional round victory over the Houston Texans earlier this playoffs, Kelce recorded a 117-yard receiving performance, shattering yet another of Rice's playoff records. Kelce broke a tie with Rice for the most all-time yards with his ninth 100-yard playoff game. Unquestionably one of the best postseason performers in NFL history, Kelce came into Sunday with 174 postseason catches, first, 2,039 postseason receiving yards, second, 20 receiving touchdowns, second, and 350 Super Bowl receiving yards, fourth in history. Even in a losing effort, Kelce, who will always be remembered in Super Bowl legend, has set another record. This time around, one is on the sidelines in the Brother Bowl rematch. With a strategically placed and Taylor Swift-approved accessory, Jason Kelce, who spent a significant portion of his playing career with the Philadelphia Eagles, made it plain that he will be cheering for the Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl 2025. The 37-year-old former NFL standout was seen at Caesars Superdome sporting a friendship bracelet made of red and gold beads that seemed to spell out his brother Travis Kelce's nickname, Big Yeti. Additionally, Jason's King Cake season design and tiered party necklaces were a complete nod to New Orleans, the host city of the big game. Other than that, it's a much more relaxed style than the one Jason wore for the Chiefs' big game against the 49ers last year. A Big Yeti t-shirt and red and gold checkered overalls with a Chiefs team patch. After Jason went viral for pulling his shirt off during the Chiefs versus Bills game earlier in the 2024 season, the loud outfit was intended to help him maintain his composure. In order to avoid being asked to undress, Kelce joked that he wore the coveralls. In a recent episode of her podcast, Not Going to Lie, wife Kylie Kelce stated, "I think he's moved on from that," alluding to the incident in which he became enmeshed with Bills supporters. According to Kylie, she would never wear apparel that supported a team other than the Eagles. The couple declared this year that they would be moving away from their 3 children home to support Uncle Trav from a distance. "I don't take the ladies to every game, even during the regular season, which I believe is a little controversial." In an interview, Kylie, 31, said, "They're still very young. 3 people in a stadium with thousands of people can be overwhelming. Things can get busy. It's simply too much." Yes, Travis' girlfriend Taylor Swift, who brought her father Scott and brother Austin along, as well as friends Ice Spice, Ashley Avignon, and the Ham sisters, are at the suite tonight. Ed and Donna Kelce, Travis' parents, were also present. Jason claimed that the atmosphere in his family's Super Bowl suite was intense last year. "The suite is only so big, but there were so many celebrities there that it was like, dude, everyone wants to come and see her," he remarked. "To tell the truth, it was overwhelming. It was really overwhelming." Ahead of the big game on Thursday, Jason threw his own star-studded party, making him one of the most popular persons in New Orleans this year. The Kansas City Chiefs lost Super Bowl 59 to the Philadelphia Eagles in a 40-22 thumping, ending their hopes of a three-peat. In a lopsided match, Kansas City's winning effort was hampered by the Eagles' offensive potency and disciplined defense. To begin their opening drives of the game, both teams had a punt. Similar to a dubious OPI call on A.J. Brown earlier in the game, Trent McDuffie was called for a highly dubious DPI call on 3rd down on the Eagles' second possession of the contest. Even if they were terrible, the referees were reliable. John Dotson would then catch the ball at the 1-yard line as a result. The game's first touchdown would be scored by Jalen Hurts using the brotherly shove. In the first quarter, KC would be scoreless due to a fierce 4-man pass rush. Creed Humphrey had some spirited things to say about his offensive line because of the Chiefs' persistent problems with the swarming pass rush. Continued pressure, with the Eagles having 7 players in coverage, resulted in a pick-6 to Cooper DeJean and another to Zach Bond, which led to a Brown touchdown. So those statements did not spur better performance. The Eagles continued to apply pressure in the third quarter, and Philadelphia led 34-0 after a bomb from Jalen Hurts to Devonta Smith. Despite the Eagles' relentless attack, Mahomes came out firing with a rocket ball to Xavier Worthy. A shuffle pass to Travis Kelce for a first down under duress was one of Mahomes' many magical moves. The Chiefs scored their first points of the game when Mahomes swarmed, rolled out to his right, and shot across his body, hitting a diving Xavier Worthy in the end zone. The Chiefs then tried and failed to go for 2. Once more, Mahomes went after Kelce, but the renowned tight end is getting old. It might be the final quarter of his Hall of Fame career as we go into the fourth. Regretfully, The Chiefs' fourth quarter did not begin as they had hoped. Jake Elliott put 3 points on the scoreboard after the Eagles had wasted more than 5 minutes of time. Eagles are ahead 37-6. Following Sunday, February 9th's Chiefs versus Philadelphia Eagles game, Travis Kelce and his teammates went into the locker room. Travis Kelce went to Caesars Superdome to see the Super Bowl with his Chiefs teammates. Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes, however, were spotted going into the Chiefs' locker room after the game. After the game, Kansas City's performance against the Eagles, particularly the tandem of Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes, was extremely slow. Both of the Chiefs' initial pass attempts were successful, including a second-quarter 3rd and 3 that resulted in a punt. Philadelphia had a 10-0 lead halfway through the second quarter, while Kansas City had only 1 first down and 26 yards without any points in 3 possessions. Later in the second quarter, Mahomes threw a pick-six to Cooper DeJean, which made matters worse.